Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on this Global Day of Giving. I'm Ron Strickmaker, Chair of the Foundation for Appalachian Ohio Board of Trustees. Today, we will be part of us celebrating the love we all share for Appalachian Ohio, our vision to the future. Please sit back and enjoy the stories and the people making a difference in Appalachian Ohio. If for some reason you have technical difficulties during the next hour, call our office or message us through the chat. We have staff waiting to help. And remember, today is Giving Tuesday. Thanks to the visionary investment from Governor DeWine and our legislature, we now have a dollar-to-dollar match opportunity to close the philanthropy gap. Every gift you give today to our I'm a Child of Appalachia Fund or to a local foundation supported by FAO will be doubled, allowing you to make twice the impact. We are so grateful for all that you have done to create opportunities for the children of Appalachia. So let's kick off our event with a celebratory video.
We are the children of Appalachia. Together, we honor our past, give thanks for who we've come to be, and run our leg of the relay with exuberance. Hope springs eternal. Our collective history is that of pioneers, peacemakers, laborers, organizers, liberators, inventors, and leaders. Of mothers, fathers, children, families, and communities who over time tell the story of who we are today. The stories of individual Appalachian Ohioans are stitched together, much like the vibrant quilts of our ancestors, making a rich tapestry that reflects our struggles and our strengths, our labor and our love. We are not blind to our challenges, but our eyes are fixed on the abundance of possibility here in Appalachian Ohio. The deep and abounding love that inspires all of us to make a stronger community. We are the children of Appalachia. We carry forward the legacy of creating opportunities for the people and communities of our region today and into the future.
We again want to say how grateful we are that you are chosen to spend your Giving Tuesday with us, sharing the love we have for Appalachia. Now, you are here to help carry forward the legacy of creating opportunities for the people and the communities in our region. The Foundation for Appalachian Ohio was founded in 1998 with the visionary state investment thanks to then Governor Bob Taft. We work to close the philanthropy gap. In Appalachian Ohio, we have 90% less philanthropic capital than the rest of the state. This gap correlates directly to our challenges achieving socioeconomic parity with the rest of Ohio and the nation. But where there's a gap, there is an opportunity. And we all know that poverty ends where community begins. FAO has grown immensely over time. This has been possible because of the robust network of advocates for our region's people, sometimes what I like to call FAO Army. It is now my pleasure to turn our program over to our President and CEO, Kara Dingus-Brooke. Kara will give us a report on this year and share with us where we're headed in 2022. It's all yours, Kara.
Thanks, Ron. And I want to thank everyone for giving your time to join us today. It's been so exciting to watch your registrations for this Zoom come in. We were counting them this morning and 2 more popped right up as we were counting, and they just kept coming. We think about all of you more than you can know. And that's because every day we're seeing the difference your gifts are making in the lives of people in our region. Our plan today is to share from our hearts about what your gifts are accomplishing and about the dreams that we have for the coming year. It's hard to believe, it's gone fast, but I've been with the foundation now for 15 years in this role. And what a joy it has been to watch us grow. We have grown from a handful of funds to more than 600 funds that are part of the FAO family today. This includes 11 local community foundations. They're all represented here. The Hocking Foundation, Perry, Guernsey, Morgan, Monroe, Harrison, Jackson, Meigs, Gallia, and Highland County foundations. We've helped start a foundation for Nelsonville And we're really excited to share that we're now working to start a foundation in Vinton County. Together last year, we gave $5 million. It was a record breaker for us. Nearly 1,000 grants and scholarships. We made investments in every county in Appalachian, Ohio. It was all possible because of your generosity. Your gifts helped families access housing and health care, clothing, cleaning supplies during the pandemic, internet connections. With your help, we've supplied hundreds of hotspots and Wi-Fi's to meet very immediate needs to connect children. We've also helped innovate and launch a much deeper, longer-term solution to our region's connectivity challenges, a new broadband enterprise called Ohio Transparent Telecom. Never when we had this meeting last year could we have envisioned the kind of progress we'd be able to make. You can learn more about Ohio Transparent Telecom in the chat. It's a very affordable way to access broadband, and we're grateful for the leaders here who have helped to make that happen. Your gifts help 30,000 children and their educators access books, classroom supplies, and other tools. And you helped young leaders across 11 counties work to prevent substance use disorders among their peers. You fed children who were battling hunger. We especially want to thank the leaders of our Meigs County Foundation, who established a school-based pantry to serve every single child in Meigs County, and the leaders of our Community Foundation for Perry County, who innovated an entirely new way to partner with county fairs. It's called Fill the Freezers, and it will soon be coming to 3 other counties next year. It was thrilling to celebrate the success of the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund, which in partnership with the Athens Food Pantry has now raised more than $1 million to solve food insecurity in Southeast Ohio. We're really excited to share a few recent updates.
31 seconds of a speech. 31 seconds. That number will stick in my mind forever.
Athens County native Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, Ohio native Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow in the Athens County Food Bank.
Food bank employees say they are moved and overwhelmed by everyone's generosity.
And now it's time to welcome a new member into our Heisman family. It is my pleasure to announce the 2019 winner and 85th recipient of the Heisman Memorial Trophy is Joe Burrow. Louisiana State University, congratulations. I'm not even sure when Joe started speaking, he was speaking from the heart, that I think part of what he really was saying to people was the fact that it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter how your family is economically and financially, that there's hope that you can do the same thing that I've done and that you can also rise and become successful. But he tied that in with the fact that a lot of these kids did not have enough food to eat and they were hungry.
Coming from Southeast Ohio, it's a very, very impoverished area, and the poverty rate is almost 2 times the national average, and there's so many people there that don't have a lot. And I'm up here for all those kids in Athens and in Athens County that go home to not a lot of food on the table, hungry after school. You guys can be up here too.
That first week, we processed checks that were just shy of what our annual budget is.
I had an amount and I tried to keep it under that so we could have some left over at the end of the year. And now we don't have to worry about that.
We're so grateful for what Joe said, during his speech and really everything he's done. And unfortunately, that includes his injury because his jersey was the number 9 people in Cincinnati, fans of the Bengals, decided to donate money to us in multiples of $9, you know, $9, $900, $90, you know.
And that touched my heart.
So the impact has been astronomical. I mean, it touched people in ways that I don't think any of us would have ever dreamt was possible, particularly coming as a Heisman Trophy speech. That's not where you typically hear about hunger and food insecurity. And I think it just resonated with people across the country, his sincerity and his absolute concern for the people of the community where he grew up.
We're so proud of you, Joe Burrow, and we are so grateful for all you've done for the children of Appalachia. And we're excited that everyone on this Zoom is going to be among the first to see Joe's latest venture. Joe has selected the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund and Athens County Food Pantry as the beneficiaries of the NFL's upcoming My Cause, My Cleats. Here on the screen, you will get a sneak peek at the custom cleats designed with FAO's logo. Joe will be wearing these cleats in action as the Bengals take on the Chargers this Sunday. And for every ticket purchased through the link in the chat, $5 will be donated to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund. I know you will all join me in sending Joe a big hooday and thanks for all that he is doing for Appalachian, Ohio. You know, there's so much to celebrate from 2021, too much to fit into a lunch hour Zoom. I want to kind of step back and look at the big picture. At FAO, we are guided by our vision of ensuring that every child in Appalachian, Ohio experiences an abundance of possibility. Achieving our vision requires many different kinds of investments. The question I get asked most frequently as the foundation's CEO is, how do you organize it all? Our guiding framework is the pillars of prosperity. The pillars represent 5 essential areas of opportunity: arts and culture, community and economic development, education, environmental stewardship, and health and human services. With these pillars in mind, our strategy is to support you in giving to the communities and causes that are closest to your heart. Many of you give annually to our I'm a Child of Appalachia Fund. This fund creates opportunities across all 5 pillars and supports local leaders in establishing community foundations. At last year's celebration, we shared about the start of our newest foundation, the African American Community Fund. We're excited to now share what they have accomplished in just under 2 years.
My name is Ernest Bynum. I'm a 10th generation Appalachian, and along with my father, I'm the co-founder of the African American Community Fund. The biggest thing about the African American Community Fund for me is it just gives us an opportunity to express how much we love our communities, how much we love Appalachia.
And so I'm Ralph Smithers Jr., Assistant Vice President of Diversity, Inclusion, Equity, and Community Relations at Encova Insurance. And I also serve on the steering committee for the African American Fund for the Foundation for Appalachian, Ohio. Both sides of my family are from Renville, Ohio, in Perry County. That heritage was always instilled in me my whole life. So my engagement with this to me was a way to really honor my grandparents. That's what really attracted me. I'm really excited about the African American Community Fund because this is a measure that can begin to create equity. And I see equity as being an effort to try to balance the playing field. So the African American Fund can help in various ways with mostly smaller organizations, just to give them a little lift to make a difference and make an impact. And when you make a difference and impact on that small local level, that creates a more equitable situation for the people in that community and helps them succeed.
It's great to have an agency doing something. Matter of fact, it's the only agency I have come across that just lets us be us. I don't have to mince words. I don't have to say, change things. I can just be Carver. Carver has a stigma for being a Black organization. Example, I applied for a grant. I said the Carver kids need to do X, Y, and Z, and I get a response saying, why do Carver kids need that? And it's the exact same program they do at Paint Valley School District, exact same program that they do at St. Trace or Union Oda. So why shouldn't Carver kids do that? We have been left out for so long. We're playing catch up.
There's a lot of rich history in the African American community that is invisible. That's went unnoticed, undocumented. The biggest blessing is we partnered up with I'm a Child of Appalachia, and we've been able to go through the grant process. And in the last 2 years, we've been able to give out $20,000 to local nonprofits.
During COVID, Chillicothe School District said, we're going to go virtual. So there was no place for those children to go. They come to Carver, so we have to figure out a way to get paid to provide services for these children. Our program, thank goodness we were able to pull it off. Our program kept our kids on track. My biggest concern was reading and math. Without this program, it never would have happened. It never would have happened, because a lot of the children that were in virtual learning were at home alone. Mom or dad or caregiver, whoever had to work.
But I think a fund like this would be serving at its full capacity when it reaches a point where it can have influence and impact that can change lots of people's lives.
Leaders like Justine Smith of the Carver Community Center are really the powerhouse for FAO's vision. Our vision, of course, is a region abundant in possibility. We're so grateful for Justine's work and the founders of the African American Community Fund. I appreciated what Justine had to say about the pandemic making things difficult. Not being able to travel forced major changes to FAO's operations. We fueled our creative energy into developing a new kind of matchmaking service. We call it Cause Connector. Cause Connector launched Valentine's Day of 2021. The way it works is that local communities can use the site to share about projects that need support, and donors can search the site by county or interest area. One of the first projects funded was led by high school students in Wellston. They envisioned community murals as a way to build pride and make their city beautiful. And a lot of young people used this site. It was very exciting. Another project was led by moms who saw too many children going without the basics. They called their project Give Like a Mother. And they provided children with clothing packs that included outfits, undergarments, PJs, and socks. And I said too many children, but if one child goes without the basics, it's too many, and we appreciated their leadership. In Hawking County, the Bowen House put on a summer concert series, and in Jackson, a library used Cause Connector to raise money for a trailer for their bike. And they created a bookmobile that they pedaled around to places where children were who didn't have transportation to the library. In addition to these 4 projects, there were more than 80 projects funded through grassroots giving and your support. You can check them out at causeconnector.org. We'll place the information in the chat. Cause Connector will launch again this coming Valentine's Day. So if you know of good projects in need of funding, please share them with us. You know, what is apparent when you're in our seat and you do things like Cause Connector and all of our grants is just the incredible caliber of leaders that are working throughout every community in Appalachian, Ohio. We have so many visionary and dedicated people. They're truly our region's greatest asset. In the coming year, we are going to be working to develop a new Pillars of Prosperity Fellowship program. The goal is to target support to some of these individual leaders to help them grow their impact from one local community to many communities. Ultimately, we hope to help these leaders scale their transformative ideas region-wide. Our goal is to support a fellow working in each of the 5 pillars every year. So if you know an innovator, someone who has developed a program that is poised to help many more people, please make an introduction for us. The 3 leaders we're about to hear from are our inaugural class of Pillar Fellows, representing the Community and Economic Development Pillar, the Health and Human Services Pillar, and the Arts and Culture Pillar.
Mary Beth Wright. In 1988, there were a group of professionals that gathered and said, you know, we need to, you know, do something to provide sustainability for our county. And $100,000 was raised. I went back and I told the group of Guernsey County Foundation trustees, I go, you know, what do we have to lose? You said, if we can't grow this thing, we might as well just give it away. Let's try this. And that's when we started building our family, our funds. And that first evening, like in 2004, we had 5 funds already in process. So here we are, 2021 from 2004. We're at 52 funds, and we're going to hit $12 million for our family of funds. Well, I think it gives me the opportunity to go out and help, just like David Missel helped us achieve the success that we did.
Christy Bartman. I founded Eyes Up Appalachia, which is an anti-human trafficking initiative here in Appalachian, Ohio. And my focus is on advocacy and education around human trafficking issues. In Ohio, human trafficking is addressed by anti-trafficking coalitions. And if you look at a map, if you look at Appalachian, Ohio, out of the 32 counties, only 16 are represented by an anti-trafficking coalition. So there was a huge need, and just hearing what was needed by the survivors, by the folks that were doing the services, I was fortunate enough to be able to be in a position to step away from an academic career and really focus efforts on anti-trafficking efforts here in Appalachian, Ohio. Working with FAO, number one, I just love the ability to brainstorm. But really, the one thing that I love more than anything else is being included in that team, being included in that group of individuals that's really thinking way out there, you know, that's got that vision, because this is not a quick turn thing. And it's a bigger population that I'm working with. I mean, because I'm really kind of the trafficking focused, but it is very evident that there are so many other needs that need to be addressed to make an impact on this trafficking piece, and they're working those. And so that's what really makes me excited about working with FAO. It's that potential to be part of that team and make that happen long term.
My name is Carrie Gunter Seymour, and I am the Poet Laureate of Ohio. Some people don't even realize, and some forget, that a quarter of the state is in Appalachia proper. And then we have all these communities out there that are really working hard to hold on to their culture and to find ways to share it. We're an honorable people. We love our elders. Family is important to us. The land is so very important, and we all fall back on our cultural heritage And that's why it's important to lift those voices. It was born in my mind, this idea of the anthology, and then what better to name it than after our state bird, the cardinal. And so I thought, well, I'm going to call it, I thought I heard a cardinal sing, because when I think about poetry, I think it sounds like song to me. With the help of the Foundation for Appalachian Ohio and Sheila Nagig Publications, I'm going to be able to put a free copy of this anthology in every library in Ohio, which just makes me so happy, because that means every adult and child in Ohio who wants to read this book can.
Mary Beth, Christy, and Carrie, thank you for your visionary leadership, your hard work, and quite honestly, your willingness to help us develop our fellowship program. We're certainly designing it as we go. At FAO, we work very hard to maximize the impact of every gift, whether that's time, talent, ideas, introductions, or dollars. We want your gifts to keep giving far into the future. And this is why we're developing a loan program to support nonprofit ventures. This year, we piloted our second loan. It went to Habitat for Humanity of Southeast Ohio to help Habitat create a contracting business. The new contracting venture will help people develop employment skills, provide homes to families in need, and transform empty properties into thriving communities, all while generating sustained revenue for Habitat's operations. When the venture becomes profitable, Habitat will repay the loan to FAO so we can invest it in another nonprofit. If you are aware of nonprofits with innovative ideas of ventures like this, we'd love to have an introduction. Now I want to turn to another catalytic form of investment your gifts are making possible, and that's grant making. This year, we were able to use your support to our I'm a Child of Appalachia Fund to support the grant making of our local community foundation partners and the African American Community Fund. Nothing beats local leadership and knowledge. And when applied through these local foundations, these dollars make an incredible impact. So for those of you who were part of this program, we just want you to know that your boots on the ground perspective and the advice you provide is absolutely essential to our ability to transform lives. Thanks to everyone's partnership, we celebrated another major milestone this year, and that was the launch of our first region-wide Pillar Grant Program. Our environmental stewardship pillar awarded grants to 12 organizations from across the region. These organizations are using FAO's grants to make outdoor spaces more accessible to families and children. If you love hiking, this next video might just inspire your next adventure.
My name's Ellie Ewing. I'm Executive Director of Captina Conservancy. Captina Conservancy is a private nonprofit. Our mission is to promote, protect, and preserve Captina Creek watershed and other regional watersheds here in Eastern Ohio. The kind of extras that the grant provided were perfect for our needs. We had volunteers who were able to do the actual work to clear the trail, to plan it, but the funding to just add what's needed for the public to make it so they have a map so they can tell where to go on the trail, so that they have a place to, a guide along the way so that they're not getting lost while they're out there. Then having it be an enjoyable experience will help encourage people to want to return and to come back again. Well, we view land conservation as being really important when it's supported by the community, and encouraging people to have positive experiences with nature and have access to areas like the Rock River Refuge really helps develop that baseline of support. I think FAO's focus on Appalachian Ohio in particular and on highlighting the environmental connection with the community is unique. There's not a lot of other organizations doing that work in this particular area. So targeting and supporting organizations like Captina Conservancy is just a huge way to connect the community and to spread the impact of protecting the environment, educating and outreach to people on conservation and the needs that are there.
Athens Conservancy is a nonprofit land trust based in Athens, Ohio. We exist to preserve natural land in Athens County and surrounding areas. So the preserve is a 287-acre preserve called the Mary Beth Zachlosy Preserve, and it's named after a beloved environmentalist. So how do we get more people to want to go outside, which is so important to us as humans, to get out in nature. It's good for us physically, mentally, spiritually. It's just good for our soul, makes us happier people. Great to get kids out in nature. So we thought, how can we do that? We're partnering with Passion Works Studio in Athens, which is an art studio that employs artists with developmental differences. And so a core group of 9 artists created this great big piece of art with really colorful, and they wove in images of plants and animals and everything from butterflies to bobcats to salamanders and trillium, and just everything is woven into this beautiful piece of art. Then we are taking that image and cutting it into 10 different segments and creating 10 trail markers that will go around the pond. So it'll be the Mary Beth Zachlosy Art Trail. It's going to be a really fun thing for people to do. They can look at the image of the whole painting, and then they can walk around the trail and find the different images and find the little animals hidden within the design.
The thing I like about reading is that you can picture it in your mind and kind of change the story or how they look.
My favorite thing about reading books is trying to figure out what the main thing the author's trying to get through to us through the book.
My name is Kim Wolf, and I'm from Meg's local primary, and I am the librarian. Being the librarian and also loving nature and outdoors, I wanted to combine the two. We do a lot of activities where the kids get rewarded for their reading success, and we take a lot of walks here on our nature trail. So that's where the idea of doing a book walk, so they could walk and enjoy nature at the same time. It's more peaceful outside. There's a lot of stresses with being in school and just being little and trying to learn, and they can come outside, they can escape their reality to a peaceful place where they can explore and learn and grow. The kids find it fascinating, they love it. It brings an excitement to reading and to being outside. My mission is to have kids read and love to read, and so the more opportunity we can give them to read and different places to read, the better that is. We did a story walk of just kind of a temporary thing with some signs and stakes in the ground, and the kids loved it so much we wanted to make it a permanent structure that they could enjoy year-round and for years to come, and the FAO grant helped us do that.
It's nice to hear people say thanks to FAO, but we're truly grateful to be helping these projects and for the work of all of the leaders that we're hearing from today. We're now excited to share that we have an additional grant project we're piloting. Through our Health and Human Services pillar, grants are right now available to help increase healthcare services to children through new partnerships between healthcare workers and schools. Sometimes it takes just a little bit of the seed money to get things like that started. So you can read more in the chat or on our website. Now we want to look to 2022. Our bold goal with the I'm a Child of Appalachia Fund is to offer competitive grants, fellowships, and loans in each of the 5 Pillar of Prosperity areas. Thanks to your generous giving over many, many years, as well as the new matching investment from the state to double the impact of our gifts, the I'm a Child of Appalachia Fund has grown large enough for us to launch forward. We have $50,000 per pillar for grants, $32,000 per pillar for nonprofit loans, and $15,000 for fellowships in the education and environmental stewardship pillars. Each grant, fellowship, and loan will create vital opportunities for the children of Appalachia. But what is truly invigorating is imagining the net effect of so many investments being created simultaneously in each pillar. Our collective impact is the engine that will drive region-wide transformation. We've long reached for this day to be able to create opportunities across all of the pillars at one time. We've now arrived with at least enough funds to begin the journey. It's a major celebration, but the race is not won because it's not status quo that we're after. We seek to advance sustained transformation across every community in Appalachian, Ohio. We seek to be the generation of organizers, champions, and leaders who work together to bring Appalachian, Ohio to parity with the rest of our nation. An ambition of this scale requires investment to match. Our leaders are ready, our pump is primed, and your gifts now will accelerate success. And while at FAO, we love to focus on the opportunity side of the giving equation. I must say, there is great need. As we launched forward in advertising this new funding, we know we'll receive many, many more requests than we have funds available to help. There will be a flood of new ideas, new energies to make a difference, and we don't want to leave any of that on the table. Truly, every dollar you give will help. We thank you in advance, and I will now pass things back to Ron to introduce our first Chaddock Philanthropist of the Year honoree.
Thank you, Kara. As a board member, I can share that gifts to the I'm a Child of Appalachia Fund are enabling so much innovation on how we solve challenges. One of the new ideas we're working on is reverse scholarship. We all know our region is losing way too many young people. To bring young people home, we're envisioning a reverse scholarship. While traditional scholarship award dollars to students when they leave for school, this new investment would award dollars when, after their education, they return home to the region to live, work, and volunteer. Now it's time of our program when we get to honor two very special philanthropists. The Chaddock Award of Philanthropy was established by FAO board member Jeff Chaddock and his husband Mark Morrow to celebrate and recognize those who have made an outsized difference in Appalachia through their gifts of philanthropy. I'm personally excited this year that we have the pleasure to honor and show gratitude to two individuals as the Chaddock Philanthropist of the Year. The first individual we recognize is Mike Workman. Mike is the champion for Morgan County. Mike's work as an entrepreneur is an incredible example of economic development success. With a keen focus on local skills and local economy, Mike's company, Contracts Furniture, employs hundreds of people across the region. Additionally, Mike was the founder of the Morgan Community Fund, which is one of FAO's community foundation funds. He has long been a leader for FAO, serving as our board chair and helping to drive the strategic direction of the foundation. Mike's philanthropic acts, including his own planned gift, will provide the Morgan Community Fund a home for generations to come. But his eye for investing in Morgan County's next generation for philanthropic leaders is a vision that sets him apart. Join us as we honor Mike Workman, first with a short video about the Morgan Community Fund, and then we'll hear from Mike directly.
Morgan County is a real secret.
You can't beat it. Friendly, positive environment.
I've lived on the edge of Morgan County my entire life. My heart was set on initially leaving the area. Something drew me back, and that was the people.
I'm Mike Workman. I live in McConnellsville, Ohio. I've been a member of the Morgan Community Fund board, and I'm a local business owner. What we want to do is we want to help our children build their dreams, fulfill their dreams. We want to provide hope for our elders, that there is a tomorrow for them, and we want to spread passion throughout our community. Those are the fundamentals of what we do here at Morgan Community Fund.
I'm Kelsey Wells. I've been with the Community Fund for several years now. I've known Mike since I started. He somehow heard my name through the grapevine and just kind of adopted me into his family. When I started, Mike kind of gave me the keys to the Christmas Fund. It's a huge program. Hazel Cyphers left this large amount of money to make sure that every child in Morgan County had a Christmas gift, and an adequate Christmas gift, not just a couple bucks. Over the years, we've reached out with the schools, with the schools' help, and was able to put really nice gifts to kids that wouldn't normally receive nice gifts. So we created the auxiliary, and we've had some really great ideas, some new relationships. We knew that we needed help in doing some of these programs, but we wanted the ideas of the younger people. So we came up with the auxiliary program to help with like our Christmas program, because I mean, you need a lot of people involved to be able to make it a successful program. I think it's going to be our most successful year yet.
I'm Tyler Hickerson. I'm a lifelong resident of Morgan County. I'm currently a co-chairman of the Morgan Community Fund that I got a part of in 2020 as a new member of the organization. I'm one of the few from my graduating class that came back and stayed in Morgan County. A lot of people my age do not stay in Morgan County just because they think of the lack of opportunity there is in the community with jobs, just things to do. However, I'm a proponent of the small town community and all of the offerings it does have, and actually encouraging the young entrepreneurs to stay here and establish business in these local communities. What it means for a small organization to have it locally ran, I think, is key, because not having a local community fund, if it was ran by an outside organization, they don't know potentially what is going on. We are the ones that are living, breathing in our community. We know what's happening in our community, what our community needs.
We need to provide our population, our people, a new way to improve their quality of life and their well-being. The real thing about a community fund is getting people involved. The mentoring part to me is the most important element of getting this set for the future.
Hello, this is Mike Workman. I hope I'm on video here. I want to thank Jeff Chaddock and Mark Morrow for their generosity and their gift to Appalachia. Your impact will be remembered for many, many years to come, and we really appreciate it. I'm honored, very honored, to accept this award on behalf of all of us in Appalachia today. The thing that keeps reverberating in my mind is that philanthropy is for the future of everyone, every one of us, including ourselves. And when we give back, we get back. It's the warmth of giving that makes us feel good about ourselves. I'd like to tell you a little story about what giving really means on a very personal level. Several years ago, Kelsey was talking about the Christmas gift program, and it's grown into a huge program. I think each year we reach 500 kids thereabouts, and we've been doing it for about 5 or 6 years now. One year, we had wrapped gifts of these sort of small lap computers and easels and that kind of thing. things that kids normally wouldn't have access to. So all the gifts are wrapped. And one of the local banks decided that they wanted to distribute the gifts. So the parents would come in with the children to pick up the gifts. And this lady came in with two young children, a little boy and a little girl. And the ladies in the bank brought out the gifts and gave them to the children. And they couldn't wait. They just couldn't wait to get home, and they certainly didn't make it under the tree. But they were so excited that they sat on the floor and unwrapped these gifts in front of everyone. And the joy on their faces and in their hearts was just unbelievable. The lady, the mother, dropped to her knees in the bank and started crying, started sobbing, and no one knew why particularly. It was a momentous moment, I'm sure, for her. But all the people in the bank started crying too. So here's a bank full of people all crying. And the lady got to her feet, wiped her tears, and she says, you don't have any idea of what this means to me. She said, I lost my job. I'm a single mother, and I lost my job 6 months ago. And without you, they wouldn't have the Christmas. And with that, it's the little things that you can do for people that really count. So think about that when you're in your community, in your own community. It's the little things. So don't be afraid to do it. Step up. With that, thank you. And thank you again it's an honor to receive this award this year. And I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for all you do and continue to do. It's exciting to see how your leadership has inspired the next generation of leaders in Morgan County. And on behalf of the FAO board, please know how grateful we are for the time that you gave us when you served as our past board chair. Our next Chaddock Philanthropist of the Year honoree is chosen to remain anonymous. This honoree's giving spans many areas of interest in the foundation, from the county they call their home, to the I'm a Child of Appalachia Fund, to initiatives across education, health and human services, and environmental stewardship pillars of prosperity. However, there is one gift we especially want to highlight today, and that's our honoree's gift to support FAO in developing a mobile vision clinic partnership. We'll watch a video about the mobile vision clinic made possible in part by this donor. Then we'll hear from Nancy Lammers, FAO's board secretary, who will accept this award on the honoree's behalf.
When I first started as a school nurse, it was always apparent how important to me vision is just for everyday life. But in the learning environment, when you have kids that are on individual, educational plans, or even kids that don't even know that they can't see well and have an opportunity to improve that, the connection between vision and learning it's so important. We have a little guy that comes in here at lunchtime, and he got glasses, and just how he carries himself. Even yesterday he said how much better he saw. It's just, it touches my heart, and I know that it's going to make an impact on their learning.
Our foray and exploration of what has now become a mobile vision clinic really started with a single grant up in Harrison County to the Caddis Lions Club to support a spot vision screener. So this initial grant in Harrison County led to the expansion of that Lions Club program to some neighboring Lions Clubs in Jefferson County. And through this exploration of this initial grant, it really got us asking and learning really from people on the ground that one of the greatest challenges that school nurses and school administrators and students and families face is that though there's a really robust vision screening requirement within the state of Ohio, where that often falls apart is that transition from vision screenings and not passing and failing a vision screening to getting that follow-up vision exam.
The Foundation for Appalachian Ohio, I know through one of their donors, was very interested in looking at the needs in the region for vision care, especially for children. And I think they were inspired by an NPR story, Vision for Baltimore, which is basically a program in Baltimore City schools that is run by Vision to Learn, the other nonprofit that's part of this program.
But we can't stand alone in this process. We need partners in order to be successful. And especially in Appalachia, one of the things that we need to continue to address more than just here in Cambridge, but you've got to partner with your local agencies. You know, we want to be a part of the solution. We just need others who are experts in these things, in these processes, to come to the table and talk. And the FAO, so far, it's been a tremendous partnership.
There's so many different barriers that kids experience, that families experience. And so to be able to help organize and bring the services to the communities that need them has been very rewarding for me, and hopefully the kids as well. The joy of Vision to Learn is when you go and you give someone something they don't realize they need, then all of a sudden their world just opens up. And again, here comes your confidence, here comes your laying the foundation to really help them succeed in other things in life, and it's one less thing they're gonna have to worry about.
These kids who I know are sitting in a classroom and not able to see the board, not able to maybe see the worksheets that we're giving them, maybe able to see a screen, and knowing that they were going to get glasses that day was really powerful.
And the kids are excited. We had a student at the older grades that came out and she said, I really feel like I'm being cared for. I really believe the school cares for me because look at what they're doing for me with my vision. And she needed glasses. And she's, you know, I think she was in 10th grade. So how long she had been without, because she's new to us, I don't know, but we were able to change her life just by simply providing an exam for her.
This is something we've been trying to do for years. We've been trying to grow the IC program and just realized that the scale that we had to meet was something that we weren't going to be able to do on our own, or it would be a huge lift. And we found the right partners to really make this happen and make it a reality.
Hello to all of you who care about the beauty and the opportunities of our region. Have you ever wanted to recognize someone very special by shouting thank you from the highest hilltop in Appalachian, Ohio? Or even by whispering thank you to them while walking in a quiet forest? The second recipient of the 2021 Chaddock Philanthropist of the Year Award prefers to remain quietly anonymous. We honor that wish of this visionary philanthropist today. I've been given the opportunity and the honor of accepting this award on behalf of this wonderful human being. My name is Nancy Lammers. I am on the board of the FAO, and I'm truly a child of Appalachia myself, having grown up in Cambridge, Ohio. The recipient of the Chaddock Award has been quietly and anonymously supporting the Foundation for Appalachian Ohio from the moment its inception over 20 years ago. Giving came very naturally to our donor. As a young child, the family's father encouraged them all to give generously. Giving was instilled very early in our donor's life, when during the difficult Depression years, hungry hobos who were traveling along the nearby railroad and stopped at the family's home were fed sandwiches on the family's doorstep, even if their food was in short supply. Those kindnesses and generosity of giving to others were warmly passed to our recipient of the Chaddock Award, who expanded the family's example of giving to provide support over many years through the funding of scholarships and investing in Appalachian, Ohio's beautiful natural environment. The FAO's new partnership with the IC Vision to Learn program was initially spurred into action by a phone call from this year's recipient of the Chaddock Award, to Kara Dingus Brooks, FAO President and CEO, alerting Kara of the Vision to Learn organization. It is for this vision in encouraging and financially supporting FAO's exploration of vision access for children in our region that we are recognizing this extraordinary donor. As a young child, our donor's school desk had to be moved to the very front of the classroom so that the chalkboard could be visible. It was not until a move to a new school that the principal visited the family's home to tell the parents that their child had trouble seeing and it must be corrected. Those first glasses truly opened up a whole new world of learning for our donor. Inspired by this childhood experience of how glasses greatly impacted and improved the educational experience, this advocate for youth felt compelled to invest in vision care for the next generation of Appalachian Ohioans through the support of our mobile vision clinic. Finally, to the special philanthropist, if you are listening today, thank you for your ongoing support of the FAO since its inception over 20 years ago. Thank you for ensuring that the children in my hometown and so many other towns in our region have access to vision care. And thank you for improving the lives of so many in Appalachian, Ohio throughout your lifetime. May you quietly enjoy this recognition, whether you're on a hilltop or a wooded pathway. It is an honor for the FAO to award the 2021 Chaddock Philanthropist of the Year Award to an extraordinary, visionary, and a caring individual. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Here at FAO, we often describe philanthropy as planting trees whose shade one does not expect to sit beneath. To Mike and our anonymous donor, your loving investments have planted canopies for others. You inspire us to go out and find places where we can plant shade too. To me, the call of Giving Tuesday is to look around and see where I might be able to plant trees for future generations. You might feel called to start a fund or to get behind one of the efforts you heard about today, or perhaps now is the time to establish a planned gift and experience that joy of knowing that you are leaving a legacy for something you care deeply about. It's amazing to see what Hazel Cyphers has accomplished with her gift to provide Christmas gifts to every child in Morgan County. Into perpetuity, she will be helping mothers like the ones we heard about. As you give, I hope you will also join me in giving a portion of your gift to the I'm a Child of Appalachia Fund. It's the cornerstone. Please don't think what you have to give is too small. Because we're combining our gifts, we can all have a profound impact. And sometimes the simplest things, a pair of glasses, can make the biggest difference. As we bring our program to a close, we want to end where we began, and that's with gratitude. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Thank you for all your giving. Thank you for the abundance of opportunity you are creating. And thank you for the incredible opportunities now ahead in the future. We truly appreciate your partnership. We hope you have a wonderful day.